can be a power station for all our space-based operations and activities. We can then start to, using laser beam, which is not affected by atmospheric disturbance in space, we can use focused laser beams to transfer energy to spacecraft, platforms, stations, and even planetary surface installations. What would you do with that energy? What would you do with that power? Well, for example, you always, when you're thinking of starting a new business, always focus on where the market is and where the opportunity is. One of the biggest challenges that exists today that people perhaps don't think about so much just yet is server farms. Today, the server farms that run our computers, that store our data, consume 10% of the world's electricity. Server farms are consuming 10% of the world's electricity. And the challenge is that the growth of our use of data is increasing at such a rapid rate that this one drain alone, this one consumption alone, will cause us a very critical problem. If we can put server farms in space, either at the geostationary orbit or around the moon or on the moon or in other locations, we can store great amounts of the Earth's data that is not affected by latency, i.e. the distance it takes to transmit that data, and power those by solar power farms in space. This is a critical issue and a very massive business opportunity for the entrepreneurs and the countries that are open enough to make a head start in this. And of course, once you've developed that solar power capability to transmit, to generate and transmit energy and power, we have then one of the most important solutions for Earth-based environment, energy, freshwater generation through desalination plants that exist. Right now we have a 7.5 billion person population, increasing to 9.5 to 10 by mid-century. We have a 17 terawatt power consumption that is set to double or triple before the end of this century. And we have limitations on the use of hydrocarbons. Fusion is still 20 to 30 years away from commercial exploitation. It always is at the moment. Ground-based renewable energy solutions don't have the base loading storage capacity and requirements to allow us to rely on it as a constant 24/7 reliable energy source for our civilization's needs. In 10, 20, 30 years, 10, 20, 30 years time, this problem of energy shortages are only going to get worse and more severe. So the time to address this is now, and space-based solar is one of the key business opportunities. It's also one of the hardest and one of the biggest, but it is a key infrastructure opportunity that we must all work together on and solve. Going from then infrastructure systems to humans, well, what else can you do? What other business opportunities will exist? Well, tourism. Tourism is a very large industry on Earth, and it will no doubt be a big industry in space once you get infrastructure. But for the most part, for tourism to become profitable, it tends to follow infrastructure. Mass tourism only comes once infrastructure is in place. Otherwise, you get exotic adventure tourism, which doesn't really form an effective business opportunity. So companies like Bigelow and others are planning the establishment of in-space habitations to allow people to visit, to experience space, and to even perform business and other functions. There are a number of suborbital companies trying to create access into space, such as Virgin Galactic and Xcore, but both these companies are struggling on the suborbital market, and it's turning out that the suborbital access and suborbital market is not necessarily the way to go. Well, if we're going to undertake large-scale habitation in space and settlement, we're going to need food. Agriculture in space has been worked on and experimented on the space station already quite effectively. Salads have been grown. I don't think they've grown their own gourmet meals yet and made anything too advanced, but they're getting there. And as we have 3D printing of food products, like with Organevo and others, the opportunities for creating food and agriculture using traditional methods, hydroponics, synthetic biology, 3D printing of food, and techniques that we can develop over the coming decade, we should have a very effective agriculture and food in space opportunity. Again, this is something that will be a very, very large market, but you need the customers there first, so get the timing right. But life sciences and health is also a very interesting business opportunity in space today. It so happens that when you're in space, the body does strange things. Our muscle tone decreases, the bone loses mass density and starts to ossify, and there are a number of degradatory effects that occur on the human body in space over time. It so happens that you can draw a lot of similarities between what happens to the human body in space and then what happens to the human body as it gets older, living a normal life on Earth. So space research of life sciences and space medicine, surgery in space, and the applications around that can have a multi-billion-dollar market opportunity if you find the right niche. And there's a lot of work being undertaken by combining space life sciences with microgravity research to address genetics, gene stressing opportunities to see what certain cells and sequences do when you can stress genetic algorithms and genetic code in space without gravity, in a microgravity environment. So that is a little bit of a snapshot, a little bit of an overview of the two areas of space business opportunity for us in the entrepreneurial zone. Either space is the new internet, where we can move a little faster, you can invest a little faster, and potentially get returns with a risk profile that allows you to be a pioneer as an investor or an entrepreneur. Or there's the space infrastructure set of businesses, which are a little further away off, but if you can hold your breath long enough and you can find ways to build business opportunities and revenue generation along the way, when the markets for space infrastructure arise, you will be then positioned a half a decade or a decade later to really dominate and aim for those multi-billion or trillion dollar markets that may emerge in the decades to come. And so if you're looking as an investor, for example, if you're an investor who wants to invest in space and you're looking for a 10x return today, in 2 years or 3 years, I would suggest find something else. Go in real estate, go in investments, do some terrestrial activity that has much more rapid return. If you're an investor, such as an angel or venture capital investor, who is willing to risk and willing to take a chance on a new business opportunity that gives you a highly significant return on investment in the 7 to 10x return of investment, less or more, then this may be the space is the new internet area may be appropriate for you. You can invest into small satellites, into the rockets that maybe will transport them up, or into the data services, the machine intelligence, AI interpretive systems that provide the data layers on top. The data layer is where the majority of the value is today. The windows of opportunity for getting into the space as an internet hardware layers are closing in the next few years. So before the end of the decade, I believe the space is the new internet arena will become much more commoditized. The marginal costs of additional units will become so low that it will become very competitive, and the real value proposition comes further downstream in that business chain. And you've got to be more imaginative downstream. If you're a really crazy entrepreneur and you have a passion for changing the world and doing something really different, and you're really driven and you're committed, the new infrastructure foundations are where you should be. This is hard. It takes a long-term plan and a long-term commitment, and you have to stage your strategy so that you can generate capital and revenue along the way as you build pieces that add up to your infrastructure puzzle. So figure out what your goal is, whether it's to get to Mars, whether it's to set up operations on the lunar surface, on the moon, whether it's to build space robotics, power stations, transport systems, whatever it is that you're passionate about, learn about it, figure it out, and then create a step-by-step plan that is based on return of investment and revenue generation within standard angel and venture capital investment cycles. It's a minimum. You cannot do it without that, otherwise you're just dreaming and enjoying yourself. Break it down into multiple business opportunity steps, and that will be the way you can get this. So whether you are in the perfectly sane zone, the insane zone, or you want to be in the completely bonkers zone, the opportunity is there to do this. So what emerges, what would be the scenarios that might emerge that would enable us to undertake and decide where we want to actually position ourselves? Well, I've chosen 4 scenarios here, and let's just talk through them briefly so that we can get a view of where we position ourselves in our business opportunities. So nothing really exciting happens. This is scenario 1. This is a terrible thing, a terrible thing. I want to make sure that all of us in this room work hard to make sure that this is not our future. We cannot afford that. Otherwise, if we don't move forward, we will stagnate and we are in big trouble. I just suggested here that the satellite industry will grow a little bit more. Maybe we'll go to a couple of hundred launches, a little bit of space tourism, and that's about it. The big problems, the big challenges on Earth of power, fresh water, the opportunities of expanding our species into the solar system and beyond, all of this maybe is left to the next century if we're lucky. This is something we don't want to happen. We cannot let happen. A great scenario is big new markets. The key to big new markets is the real challenge. You cannot set up a new market of extraordinary size and have the cost of access for launch transportation be at the right price to make that happen. We have a chicken and egg. The launch price is too high, so the market is not able to grow. The market is not